Thank you. Okay, so our next item is item 10, the report of the Papanui-Innes Community Board to Council. Ali Jones is here this morning. Ali, great to have you with us. If you'd like to come forward to the table. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Hi, everyone. Come on. People to see, things to do.
If I run, I'll trip over.
Eh?
If I run, I'll trip over.
Well, we should be able to do that. That's not hard. Thank you.
There you go.
Right. Alrighty, we did try. I wanted to put some little rugby people in those seats to acknowledge the tour that we have on at the moment. We'll do that perhaps next time because it doesn't look good with empty seats there. Okay, we'll just let that roll over. No Part A's in the Papanui-Innes report today. Some of the significant projects in the ward at the moment, the main one really is the St Albans Community Centre, which is being hugely anticipated by the community. Part of that community centre new build involves the relocation of the St Albans Lions building to McFarlane Park, which I know I've raised with you before. We have a working party in place which is meeting regularly, talking to sports groups, the Lions themselves, City Council, community staff. Currently at the moment the staff and the working party are working through planning issues, resource consent, because the land is reserve land, so there are just some formalities really, well hopefully they're just formalities we need to go through to get the boxes ticked there, costs of moving and fitting it out and so forth. That's an ongoing conversation at the moment, and we'll have to tie in very closely with the build date for the community, the new community centre. We're also looking for somewhere that community groups can go to while the community centre is being built. McFarlane Park will be filling a major need for that particular part of our ward, so we still need space for community groups, and we are looking at a number of places around the ward for that. We've been doing a lot of work with the Sticks area and the community groups out towards the Sticks. There was a meeting held in June 2015, and there have been a large number of meetings held since then. The community is concerned about the health of the Sticks. In fact, you'll see up there now there are some slides relating to a Source to Sea bus trip that we held recently and was very well attended by members of all of the community boards. One of the issues is maintaining not only the environmental health of the Sticks and all of the flora and fauna related to that, but flooding and low land levels are a concern, an issue around this area as well. But great communication and fantastic support from the staff and working with the community groups on that, and it's hoped that representatives from the local community will find time to commit to working on the Sticks Working Party, which, as I said, is being put together at the moment. We're getting an increasing number, which is really fantastic, of young people coming to the board, not only to request funding, and we have budgets for that, as all the community boards do, but then coming back and reporting on what they've achieved. And we are using those as an opportunity to promote through our local media and Facebook page and social media those positive outcomes, and some of them are quite phenomenal. We had a group from Belfast School, the prefects and house captains came to our 9th of May board meeting to report on their involvement in a leadership camp, and we've also heard from Casebrook Intermediate on that as well. And it's really funny, I remember one boy, the first boy to speak, he stood up and he said, I think I'm probably going to be really terrible at this. Those were his first words, but by the time he got through what he was actually saying to the board, man, he was just humming and was really confident, and then listened to his classmates say similar things. And we've heard from teachers with whom we meet regularly every quarter at Papanui-Innes. They come in, there's one a week on Friday, and they are citing major positive changes in not only the house captains and prefects that are attending these leadership courses, but other students that work with these house captains and prefects as well. So it's a hugely important and effective part of what our youth development organisations do in our ward. We have a youth principals meeting a week on Friday. Kathleen Liberty will attend that. You may know the name. Kathleen has undertaken some psychosocial research relating primarily to how the earthquakes affected children in Christchurch, and also, as you may have heard, children who were not even born at the time of the quakes, and the problems that schools are having to deal with and other community groups are having to deal with. So she's presenting to the ward principals a week on Friday. Just yesterday we had a meeting. One of the major issues, and I've raised it before when I've talked to you all, is the ongoing stress and problems we are seeing in the eastern part of our ward. I mention again around Shirley and Richmond, and you will have been well aware of the outcome of the wellbeing survey that was released yesterday, and how a number of people in New Brighton and further east were quoted and spoken to about that. I reiterate again, we are seeing exactly the same issues and stresses in our ward. So I'm not saying that it's not happening in the east, clearly it is, but it is happening in our ward as well, in the east of our ward around Richmond and Shirley, and this is the area that is short of community facilities. And again, I remind you of our annual plan submission related to the Shirley Community Centre. Yesterday we met at the Shirley Primary School. There are ongoing road safety issues outside the school. It is a very congested part of Shirley, been exacerbated by roadworks for a very long time. The issue there is red light runners. The meeting we had yesterday, which was pulled together by our community board staff, governance staff, very cool, reasonably quickly, included police, the school, parents, Christchurch City Council, parking enforcement, Penny Gray, our engineer, and a number of our community board staff. We came out of that meeting with 7 action points. One of those is to look at doing a full safety audit, if that's called a corridor audit, so not just around the immediate external part of the school, but from Hills Road right down to just before the Palms. That's what affects the safety there. So it was suggested that a 40k school zone light might help, and they're expensive, and we have to tick a lot of NZTA boxes related to getting that. We then discussed looking at getting a warning sign which basically just says children. So if drivers are aware that there are children in the area, because the school is not that obvious, it actually looks like a big office building that's very new along there, if you've been along there. If drivers are aware of children in the area, they will slow down. So it'll be a combined effort, the sign, police enforcing, City Council enforcing, and also someone suggested the children holding flags as they cross the road, as they do at St Albans Primary. Great suggestion, very simple to do. So it was a very positive meeting, and we're looking at having something in 4 weeks basically to be able to act on there. So just a good example of engaging with the community face to face and getting some positive outcomes. I think that's all.
Great, thank you very much. Clearly there's a lot going on. Great. Time for a couple of questions. Vicky.
Just on the area outside the school, would it be sensible just to lower the speed limit permanently?
We discussed this yesterday. It was interesting because some people said that there is something in law already that dictates you must travel at 40 k's an hour outside a school. Some said that's true, some said it wasn't.
We had an interesting deputation at the ITI committee on this very subject,
right,
and learnt quite a lot from it.
And that's the issue. It's not speed, because traffic congestion is so great outside the school. The traffic's crawling anyway, okay. So that's why the other sign was of more use potentially. Okay. Yeah, it's visibility. Yeah. There's a lot going on there. Yeah.
Further questions? So we have a recommendation to receive the community board report. Do I have a mover? Mike, seconded. Pauline. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Thanks very much indeed, Ali, for the board's update. Thank you.